everyone, it's Annie, and today I am going to be showing you my TBR for middle grade March. I am so excited to be participating in this readathon. It sounds so exciting. I don't really read a lot of middle grade, but I have a ton of middle grade books that all sound amazing on my to-read list, so I figured I would use this readathon as my excuse to read as many of those middle grade books on my list as humanly possible in the month of March. So without further ado, here we go. So let's start with the actual challenges for the readathon. The first one is the group book, which is The Brave by James Bird. I am so excited for this book. I have been wanting to read it since it came out. It's about a boy who has been struggling with OCD and is struggling with being bullied in school because of it. So he's sent to live with his birth mother, who is Ojibwe, and she lives on the reservation. And I am very excited to read this because of the OCD representation and, of course, the Indigenous representation. It just sounds like a great book. It was already on my list, so I am very, very happy that this is the group read for this readathon. The next prompt is a book with a silhouette on the cover. Now, I have two that I could pick, although I'm pretty sure I will pick A Song for a Whale, because this book sounds so beautiful. It's about a deaf girl who befriends a whale. So I really want to read this, but the other book that I could read is Small Spaces by Riordan. All I know about this is that it's a horror book about a group of kids who were on a field trip and get stuck because their bus breaks down or something like that, and mysterious things happen. It's by Riordan, who wrote the Winter Night trilogy, which I just finished reading, so that's mainly the reason why I want to read it. While I do think I'll be choosing Song for a Whale for this prompt, there's definitely a possibility that I'll get to this book as well because middle grade books are so short. The next prompt is to read a book about family, and I will choose my most anticipated middle grade release for 2021, which is Root Magic. I am so excited for this. It follows twins, so it fits the prompt, and they're growing up in the 1960s in the South of America. So of course there's going to be themes about race and discrimination, things like that. But the main subject of this book is that this family, the twins family, have been practicing root magic for many generations, and now that the twins are of a certain age, it's time for them to learn how to practice root magic as well. And I'm really, really excited to read this. I have heard nothing but great reviews about this book, so this is probably the one I'm going to start with just because I'm so excited to read it. The next prompt is to read a book about a journey or adventure. So I'm going to hopefully read Frostfire. I heard about this book from Polarthon because it's a polar fantasy book. First of all, the cover is absolutely gorgeous, and I want to read this book for this prompt because the main character goes on a pilgrimage from her village to this mountain, the top of this mountain. I am not sure what it's about. I'm so sorry. I really haven't checked it out because I want to be surprised. I feel like being surprised by books is something that I want to do more of, so I'm trying not to read too many synopses. So I don't know if that makes for good content or not, sorry. But if you've read this book, please let me know what you thought of it down below. The next prompt is to read a book that was either written in or set in the decade or year when you were born. I was born in 1996, and I found a book that is a Dear America book that was actually written in 1996. It's called The Winter of Red Snow. It's actually the first Dear America book that was ever released, I think. And I am pretty sure that I read this as a child because we had all the Dear America books, but I don't remember anything about it, so I'm going to read it again, or for the first time, because I really don't remember reading it. And I'm very excited because it's about the Civil War. The Dear America series is a series of diary entries, fake diary entries by girls in these historical settings. And it is such a beautiful middle grade series. It's really, really special. So I'm really excited to kind of be going back to my roots of reading a little bit and reading a Dear America book for this readathon. So the next book I am extremely excited about. It is When You Trap a Tiger by Tay Keller. Now let me read you the synopsis because it sounds so good. When Lily and her family move in with her sick grandmother, a magical tiger arrives straight out of her grandmother's Korean folktales, prompting Lily to unravel a secret family history. Long ago, her grandmother stole something from the tigers. Now, the tigers want it back, in exchange for her grandmother's health. Yes, I am so excited for this book. One of my friends read it and gave it a great review. I am very excited for it, and this fits the prompt, something to do with mythology or folk tales, so it fits because it's Korean folktale inspired. I am very excited to read this. It is quite a popular book, it seems, so my library has it on hold. It says I will get it in 4 weeks, so hopefully I will get it before March ends. So those are all the books for the specific challenge prompts that Middle Grade March gave us, but I have a lot of other middle grade books on my TBR that I'm hoping to read during this month as well, so I want to highlight several of those that are on the top of my priority list. The first one is Brother's Keeper by Julie Lee. This book sounds amazing. It is about a girl during the Korean War who escapes from North Korea with her little brother. It sounds like a really, really important book, and honestly I'm surprised that I haven't heard more people talking about it. Also, the cover is gorgeous, and I really, really want to read it. Unfortunately, it's not available at my library, so we'll see if I can buy it and it can come in time, but if you've read this book, please let me know because I'd love to hear from someone who has actually read this. The next one is, of course, The Girl Who Drank the Moon. This is a very, very popular middle grade book, and I'm sure people know what it's about, but generally it's about a girl who drank moonlight instead of the starlight that she was supposed to drink. So it gives her like magical powers or something. It sounds super magical, beautiful, like a great, great story, and I've heard people say that it will probably become a children's classic in the future. It sounds beautiful. I really want to read it. The next book I'm hoping to read is Ghost Squad. It sounds so cute. It's described as a mix of Coco, Stranger Things, and Ghostbusters, all things that I love, so I'm really hoping I will love this as well. It's about these children who cast a spell shortly before Halloween, and they awaken malicious spirits. So they have to go and find and hunt these ghosts along with their witch grandmother and a tabby cat. I am very excited for this. It looks absolutely adorable, and I've also heard really, really great things about it. The next book is a historical fiction middle grade, which I am so excited for. It's called The Blackbird Girls by Anne Blankman. There are 2 timelines. One is during the Chernobyl disaster in 1986, and it follows 2 girls whose fathers worked at the Chernobyl power plant, and when it failed, when the reactor melted down, they have to flee to Leningrad. But these 2 girls were enemies, so it will follow their dynamic, I'm sure, and how they deal with that while also dealing with the loss of their family and their home city. And the other timeline takes place in 1941. It follows a girl named Rivka who is fleeing Kiev before the Germans arrive, and she has Jewish blood, so she has to escape. And she's worried because both the Russians and the Germans in that time period did not like Jewish people. So it follows her and her escape. I am really, really, really interested in this book. It just came out last year. I've heard really good things about it, and I am very, very interested in reading more historical fiction middle grade novels that touch on really, really horrible tragedies in history, like Brother's Keeper, which I just mentioned, but do it in a way that is kid-friendly or like aimed at for children to be able to more accurately and easily understand, I am very, very interested in this book. And also the cover is great. Along that same vein of very serious historical fiction stories, I'd love to read Under the Broken Sky by Mariko Nagai. This book follows a story about a Japanese family who live in Manchuria during World War II. And when the war starts, their father is taken into the Japanese army, they're left orphaned, and they have to deal with everything going on around them. The Russians coming into Manchuria and occupying it, and how that affects their family. I am very, very interested in reading this. It sounds really, really heartbreaking, but again, I really want to read more historical fiction middle grades. If you know any other historical fiction middle grades that you think I'd enjoy, please let me know. The next book is Scritch Scratch. I have wanted to read this since it came out around Halloween time, and it is a horror, thriller, mystery, middle grade novel about this child who is followed home by something mysterious. So it sounds really cute, maybe, and maybe scary. And I really, really like the vibe that it gives off. I really love the cover art. I've heard great things about it. So I'm interested in reading a nice, fluffy horror book, hopefully. And the last 3 books are both from Riordan Presents, which highlights mythology stories from people of color. So the first book is Dragon Pearl by Yoonha Lee, which I love. I can't wait to read it. It's based on Korean mythology. The next one is Race to the Sun by the lovely Rebecca Roanhorse, which is based on Native American mythology. I read Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. I wasn't really planning on reading her middle grade stuff because, like I said, I don't really read a lot of middle grade, but if I have time, I would love to read this because I really enjoyed Black Sun, so I'd love to read more of her writing. And the last book is The Storm Runner. So The Storm Runner follows this boy named Zane who lives near a dormant volcano in New Mexico. And one day at school, he meets this girl who tells him Zane is destined to free an ancient Mayan god from the historical artifact that it is encased in or trapped in. Wow, that sounds amazing. Also kind of reminds me of Yu-Gi-Oh! A little bit, but you know, whatever. I am really excited about this, learning about some Mayan mythology, which is always very interesting. So yeah, I hope this is a good one, and again, I hope I have time for it. Also, Arusha. There's another one. Arusha. I know this book is based on Indian culture, mythology, and involves archaeology in some way. I know it's quite popular. So again, if I have time, this TBR is quite ambitious. I hope to get to it. So that is all the books that I'm planning to read for middle grade March. I really hope you guys enjoyed. Please, please let me know in the comments down below what you're planning to read this March for middle grade March, or for anything, whatever, it doesn't matter if it's a middle grade or not. And also, please let me know what your favorite middle grade book is that you recommend. I'd love to get more middle grade recommendations. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!